Okay, so we are online, and I want to welcome everyone here in our lovely office in Vilnius Old Town, and everyone who is watching us online. My name is Rama. I am people partner here in Lithuania, and I want to show you what we will be doing today during those few hours that we have. Sorry. Let's try again. Sorry, we have a technical issues. It's normal to have a technical issues.
It's human to fail.
Yeah, I will tell you about our values a bit later. And you will see that we are okay with failures and with mistakes. Still, we don't need to see a slide, but I can start. So you will start with me. I will tell you a bit about the Wix, Wix engineering part. And then I will give a word to my colleague Vilte. She will guide you through the process of the recruitment and how the program will look like. And then we will go to the most important part of today, is the technical home assignment and technical interview. Thank you. That my colleagues Thomas and Laurinas will guide you through. And we will finish with the Q&A session. So you see the QR code now here. They are on the screens, and people in the online, they are see as well on their streaming. So feel free to write us a message, a question, and we will try to answer everything. There will be a possibility to ask live questions, but as you know, there are technical possibilities. So it's easier if you just write it, and then we will try to answer it as clearly as possible. Okay, let's start. So first of all, Wix. And what is Wix and Wix engineering? So who we are? We are the leading cloud-based development platform with millions of users worldwide. Fun fact, around 7% of all the websites in the world are made on the Wix web platform. It's a huge number. Our vision as a company is we want to enable anyone, doesn't matter your skills, to create your web presence or your dreams, as we call it, online. Doesn't matter, you can code, you cannot code, you can have the page that you want. Few more facts about Wix. We have 240 plus million users in more than 190 countries. And our platform is localized and supported by 22 languages. It means that we are not just translating and sending it off, we are localizing. So it's, there is local payment options, local post options, and so on. Sadly, in Lithuania, we're not localized, but we are working on APIs, so anyone will be able to do that together with us. Every month, there is around 2 million new users that are joining our platform. If you think about it, not that much, but it's almost full Lithuania every month is becoming part of Wix. It's quite a big number. More than 6 million of people are subscribers. What's the difference between users and subscribers? As I told you, the vision is that anyone can create their dreams online. So the part of our services is free, and it always will stay free. But if you need more sophisticated functions, if you want to code yourself something more, then you become a subscriber and a lot more possibilities opens to you. Talking about the company and us as a company, we are more than 5,500 people working in 20 countries. Let's look at the map. It looks like this. Quite a lot of countries, almost everywhere except Antarctica and Arctica. From those 20, 5 are special, and we are one of them. Special because they are engineering sites. It means that the platform is being created there and here specifically. All the other sites are more for customer support and localization and marketing, and only in the 5 countries we are really creating and developing the platform. In Vilnius, here we have 220 people working on the platform. The Wix way. Some companies call it values, we call it the Wix way. So first of all, be a pro. And to be a pro, it not just means that you have to have excellent skills. It means that you have to have a pro mindset, that you are responsible, that you take ownership, that you, if you start and you commit that you will do it, you will put all the best efforts to achieve the result. There can be blockers on the way, they can be failures. And then you raise a hand and say, sorry, something is not working, I need help, not waiting that someone else will find your mistakes and will bring it up. As well, what means a pro, and it means that even with you, our future internship interns, we will not be checking how many code lines you did. If you have a task, you take it, we expect you to finish it or come with us with a problem. We are creating platform not to show our coding skills, not to show how imaginative we are. We are creating it for our users. So everything we do, first of all, we check our users. Do they need it? How they use it? A lot of things, not just because we want to do something cool. No assholes. You read it right. It's written in our values. No assholes means it's connected. You are professional. You have your strong opinion. You want to challenge. You want to show that your way is better. Everything is fine. Just don't be an asshole. Respect yourself. Respect everyone else. Behave here as you would like people behave with you. So be humble, be friendly. If someone is facing a mistake or facing a problem, help them, not just laugh at them. I'm better than you. It's not our way. And definitely have fun. While working, while socializing, those who are live here saw a bit of our office. It as well comes with a pro. We don't count your hours. We don't say that you can go for a coffee break 2 times per day. You do whatever you want with your time. You can go play football. You can go on the terrace. You can go in a massage chair. You can do whatever until you are showing the results and bringing what you committed to. So this is our way. Let's look a bit and focus to engineering part. Who remembers how many employees do we have? No, it was, yes, 5,500 to 220 was, yes, countries, 109, okay, it doesn't matter, let's move on. 5,500 people are working, 30% or 1,500 from them are engineers. It means that people who develop the platform and work. From those 30%, almost 9 is here. So we are the big part of engineering, Wix engineering community. It's a bit of that, this slide is about the structure. I will try to explain how it looks like. Imagine the platform itself. You're creating the website. You can create it for the event you want to sell tickets to and want users to be able to choose the seating place. You want to create the blog where you can write the blog post and share your travel experience. It means that for every need, you will need a bit of different functionality of the site you're creating. So we cut it all the platform in those functionalities, and we call them product or company. So it's like a company within a company, as you can see here. Blog, events, forum, emails, and they work as the independent team, usually around 20 people. The good part about this is that they are fully responsible. They decide what features they are doing. They are talking with users. They are specialists and the best knowers of what they're creating, why, and what the users need. This structure helps us, being a big company in 20 countries, still stay speedy. We can do and take decisions here in the team because we know best. What happens with that is that you have a small team that you're interacting. And we wanted to create still a communities and to help you grow and see other opportunities. So for that, we have a guilds. Guild combines the people from the same profession. So we have server guild, front-end guild, mobile guild. People from the same profession come in one place, and we call them guilds. The idea of guilds, the first of all, is a professional training. Every week, guild members come to one place and they learn. They learn from each other, they share their stories, their success, their mistakes, what they learned. So it's a possibility to learn from other companies and teams that are working, as well to share your experiences. Once a quarter, you get a week out of your tasks. It means that you just leave everything you're doing and you go to the other team, for example, and jump on their project. Maybe you have a passion about machine learning. You can take that week and dive deep into that topic, prepare a presentation, write a blog post, then come back and share it with your guild members. Then not only you learn that, but every one of us learns something new. Time for learning is dedicated. We want you not just to work, work, work. We want you to learn. We want you to go and follow your passions and see the bigger context, see what's happening overall in the world. So guild, it's a freedom to bring your ideas, to share them, to find the people who share your passions, and definitely to learn the good practices, to see how other work, especially when you're junior, because everyone is there. So you see the people with 10 years, 20 years of experience, and you can be equal with them. You can talk and discuss with them. And I want to finish with this slide. We deliver software. This is what we do for more than 200 million users worldwide, and you can be a part of that. How to do this? I will give word to Vilte, and she will guide you through the process of our program and recruitment.
Thank you. Hi, and welcome. My name is Vilte. I am from Wix People team here in Vilnius, and today I will tell you more about the Wix Grow program itself, the timeline of the program, and the recruitment process itself. So let's start off with the timeline. This is a snapshot of it. As you may know, some of you at least, we've started accepting applications on the 21st of March already, and we've been accepting them for now over 2 weeks. And we will keep accepting them until the 23rd of April, which means that whoever hasn't applied yet still has time for that. Then you will participate in interview processes, and the program starts in early June. This is a snapshot again of the recruitment process. So as I mentioned, it starts with the home assignment. Laurynas and Tomas will talk in more detail about what to expect in the home assignment. But I want you to pay attention to the deadline, which is the 23rd of April, because whoever sends the task after that, we will not get it and we will not see it. So I'll talk about the home assignment a bit later. After that, you'll have technical interviews, HR interviews, team interviews, and finally, job offer. So why do we do home assignments? Wix is a data-driven company, and we basically test everything. We test products, we test our beliefs, even our assumptions, and we use this approach in the hiring process, which means that we test everyone. So whoever comes in the recruitment process, whether it's an intern, a student, or an experienced developer, they will be tested in one way or another. Again, whether it's a home assignment, online, on-site test, and so on. We believe that testing benefits not only us, but also you as candidates, because doing the test will show you what we do every day, and it will help you evaluate whether you would like to do this at work while working at Wix. Again, pay your attention to the deadline. The homework assignment will be sent to everyone who submits their application to the Wix Grow program. So if you're here and you haven't submitted your application and you're still considering whether you want to participate or not, you still have time. As I mentioned, we'll be accepting applications until the 23rd of April, but still, this is the deadline, so it means that you'll have less time for the homework assignment, and probably tomorrow morning we'll send out all the homework assignments to all the people that will apply. So go on wixgrow.lt or Wix Careers website, find the Wix Grow position, submit your CV, and we'll send you the home assignment. So then follows the technical interview. Those who successfully pass the homework assignment, we will be invited to a technical interview. Unfortunately, we won't be able to invite everyone, and you don't only have to complete the assignment successfully, but also meet the minimum requirements that you will have. In the technical interview, each candidate will meet 2 Wix engineers, and the interview will last for up to 2 hours. We will test your problem-solving skills, your ability to communicate your ideas, as well as we want to see a big picture of your technical knowledge to understand what you know, what you don't know yet. We also want to show you the level of Wix engineering, and just in general, for you to get to know Wix better. And after the technical interviews, you will have HR interviews. Some of you may have heard of it, some of you may not. HR stands for Human Resources. And Wix is not only data-driven, but also a very people-centric company, which means that we care a lot about our people. And the relationship between an employee and an employer is like a relationship in real life between two people. So we are trying to find this perfect match. It means that the selection process is a two-way street. Not only us expressing our expectations for you, but also we are trying to be open-minded and hear your expectations and then match them with ours. I really recommend to prepare for the HR interview. You may think, how am I supposed to prepare for HR interview if I don't know the questions? Because you may expect questions not only about your projects that you've done in university, the subjects that you're currently studying, but also, maybe some unique hobbies that you have or things that you do. Because often these type of conversations show and tell way more than just dry technical topics. So, we are living in a modern world. Just go on Google, try it and type HR, how to prepare for HR interview, and I promise you it will help you. And the final interview is a team interview. So the purpose here is so for the team to get to know you, but also for you to understand what the team is like, what the product they are developing, and potentially meet your potential line manager. And depending on how many successful candidates we'll have at this stage, we may combine HR interview and team interview, but we'll make sure that you meet your future manager and team. And finally, the job offer, which is the most fun part of the selection process. So those who will get the job offer can expect a 6-month fixed-term contract with salary ranging between 1,000 and 1,400 euro before tax. So pay attention here that these numbers are for a full-time contract. So majority of you will probably join us on a part-time contract, probably except summer period. We can amend your contract. So if you want to be with us, full-time during the summer period, that's fine. In September, we will amend the contract again, and you can go back and study and then work part-time. However, we expect you to be with us for at least 30 hours per week. So before you submit your application, think about that and consider and decide if you can spend so much time with us. Also, I've already received some questions whether you can work from home. Wix is an office company, so we expect you to be in the office for most of the time. Again, with exceptions during the exam sessions. We understand that you have university assignments, tests, and so on, homework. So we try to be flexible and human. And the program itself. So those who will join us will get, each intern will get a dedicated mentor, and the mentor will be probably the best buddy for at least 1 month. The program will start with onboarding and training, so your mentor will guide you, will answer all your questions. The onboarding shouldn't take longer than couple, 3 weeks maybe, and after mostly a month, you will join actual teams and you will start working on actual products. And yes, so during the program, we want you not only to learn from us, we want you to show us that you can own what you do, you can be a professional, you can be creative, and at the end of the program, you may get an opportunity to join Wix on a permanent basis and be with us for as long as you wish. Right, so again, this is the website, you already know about it. Those who haven't applied, I encourage you to apply, to submit your application, and I look forward to seeing you in the recruitment process. Thank you.
I have with me this tall guy, Thomas, behind the cameras. He's a front-end guild manager here at Wix Vilnius. And together we will explain to you the technical part of the program. So let the slides load in a second, and I will start. But basically, what we are looking for is engineers. So it means back-end, front-end, and mobile. We have prepared a single homework assignment for, it doesn't matter for which role. So what we will be explaining is for all the roles here. So, and later on in the program, we will decide what you love to do most, and you will have an opportunity to do just that. So, so this is the process. Basically, you apply, we do a homework, we do the technical interviews, and then you receive the offer and you start. So me and Thomas will be covering the sections marked here in red. So, but before I begin talking about the homework, I want to briefly tell you about the R&D site we have here in Vilnius. So in Vilnius, we have a bunch of companies working on Wix platform, and most of these companies are cross-functional. That means they have mobile, front-end, back-end engineers working on their product. So they are in charge of releasing the functionality there end-to-end. So some of the teams you see here are infra teams, which means that they are only focusing on the front-end part or the back-end part, and they work on tools for our developers. All the engineers here at Wix belong to one of the guilds. So since the program is applies to the mobile, front-end, and server guilds, we listed them. We will focus only on them, but we have also like product guild, QA guild, and each of these guilds, of course, differ in cultural sense, and they have different requirements for their members, and of course, they differ technically. So in the backend guild, we use mostly Scala, some Node. We use MySQL or MongoDB as our databases. We use Kafka as our messaging tool, and Bazel as our build tool. For the front end, we have React, and for the mobile, we have React Native. But of course, I want to mention, like, we have a ton more technologies which are not listed here, but we listed only these for the sake of simplicity. And when you join Wix, you will get to work with a bunch more technologies. But I want to express that we don't expect you to know these tools. So, and you don't need to use those programming languages for your homework. You can choose whatever programming language you want. So it can be Java, Kotlin, or you can choose like Scala or something. You can use TypeScript, JavaScript. So any modern programming language will do. We just don't want you to use some older things like Fortran because we cannot, like, we don't have people to evaluate it. But basically, please use something that you're comfortable with. We don't evaluate you won't impress us by using a more complex programming language. So use something that is simple and something that you know by heart and you know best. So I will also tell you some of our practices that we value at Wix. So one of the most important is we test everything, or we try to, not in the back end, it's a little more easy to do so. For the front end and mobile, it's a little bit more complex, but it's one of our practices. We hold it dear. But I want to tell you that for the homework, we don't require you to follow all these practices. It's just good to know that once you join Wix, you will be asked to follow these guidelines, right? So one of the more important ones I should mention is we value simplicity over smart solutions. So in the homework assignment, we also will be looking into that. So one tip for you is not to over-engineer things, right? Keep it simple, we follow it in our day-to-day work, and we expect you to follow it in your homework assignment as well. Don't try to impress us with more fancy code. Keep it simple, keep it reusable. So yeah, this is a tip for you. One thing that we do require, we expect from you, is so we don't expect you to know the programming, to have good programming skills, right? You're still a beginner, right? So it's okay to not know something. It's okay to not know how to build applications. We will teach you that once you join, but we value knowledge. We expect you to have good fundamentals, like what you learned at school or by reading books. So whatever programming language you choose to use in your homework, we expect that you know what you're writing, understand it, and you know it well. Since this position which you are applying to is a beginner one, we expect you to learn, right? We will be providing the tools to do that, but also I want to express that we don't expect you to learn 24/7. We only you come into the work during the work hours. You will get a mentor. You will continue learning during the day. So we don't expect you to overwork. We value life-work balance. We don't expect you to have a side project, pet projects to impress us. It's not a requirement. It's okay to have those, and it's fun to see those, and it tells something about the candidate when he does, but it's not a requirement. Probably the most important thing in the learning thing is to be able to communicate, right? Since you will be working in the team, the most important thing you should focus on is how to unblock yourself, because people who will be mentoring you won't always be available to answer all your questions. But if you do have questions, we expect you to voice them and ask them. We don't sit and be quiet. And this kind of goes into the second slide, which is communication. This is the really important part, right? And being communicative is not like being an extrovert. So we expect you to be just a really good professional. When you have issues, to be able to raise them, to also freely communicate your ideas, what you're going to do, and so talk about technical things, and also to know good English, because here we use it as our primary language. Yeah, and with that, I will hand over the microphone to my colleague, Thomas, who will explain you what will be the homework assignment. So,
okay. Thank you. Cool. So, hi everyone, I'm Thomas. Laurinas introduced me already. I'm going to cover the homework assignment part in this event. So let's start. Let's see. Yes. So first things first. So each of you who submitted or who applied for the program through the website or through the job site will receive an email tomorrow, the one that Vilte already talked about. And in the email, you'll find the test assignment and all the instructions that needs to be followed in order to complete the test assignment. So there's like a lot of examples in that. There's like a PDF file attached to the email, and it's pretty detailed, so you can slowly go over it and find all the questions there. All the answers, sorry, there. Also, it's an important email. Don't delete it. Don't skip it. I'll tell you later why, because it's going to be our communication point for support and so on. For those who are not going to receive the email for some reason, I don't know, some technical difficulties, reach us out. We're also going to share the slides. There's a link to the PDF file that I just talked about with the instructions on the task. So you even if you don't apply, you can check it. We don't have anything to hide. All right, so the task is what we call spreadsheet evaluator. Assume everyone once in a life experienced using Microsoft Excel or Google Spreadsheets. Can you raise your hand if you ever used one of those? Yeah, it's like everyone. So it shouldn't be difficult to understand the business requirement, right? But since it's what Laurinas also I think mentioned, it's a task for any technology. So we're not gonna get into the user interface. It doesn't mean that you cannot implement user interface for this. You can. Feel free to do whatever you feel is necessary, but it's not a requirement to have a user interface. So how are we gonna handle this then? There's this JSON format, which is pretty standard in the industry. I'm sure everyone who did a bit of coding already tried it or saw it. It's not difficult. You can Google about it, and there's plenty of information. It's pretty straightforward. All the data types are clear and simple. And if you work with JavaScript, you should be familiar with it as well. So we're gonna convert this like a visual part of a spreadsheet, which is, as you can see, cells and rows and columns, and eventually cells, into the JSON, and it's going to become a nested array of elements, which are arrays. So each element in the top level array represents a row, and each element in the nested array or in the row array represents a cell. And here you can see like A1 is like a coordinate of the top left cell here. B1, C1, etc. So this is how it's going to look like, the data structure that you're going to need to work with. This is called A1 notation, which is also pretty known in the industry, one of the standards, where A represents a column, or letter represents a column, and number represents the row, and the A1 or whatever other coordinate is represents a cell. Okay, so if you remember the very first slide where I started explaining the task, so this is the visual implementation of the task, and it's going to be converted into this type of JSON on the left. So as you see, the top level array, which has a row, and the values are 4, 6, and the C1 cell is the formula. So the essence of the task is basically for you to retrieve this data structure and then do some computation on it, which is mostly dealing with the formulas. And when doing these computations, you're going to get some result out of it, and then you should construct another data structure which is kind of mirroring the one that you receive. Just instead of formulas, we expect you to provide computed values out of these formulas. So yeah, pretty straightforward. So what can you find in cells? What kind of values there exist? So I would say there are 3 main categories. First of them is values. Values, other language called primitives, which is basically a text, Boolean, or a number. So it's a simple one. Usually the ones that you don't need to do anything with them, right? You just copy paste them to the output result, and that's it. There could be errors. Errors are we introduce like a specific syntax, which is also similar to what Google Spreadsheet uses. It basically a hashtag error, colon, and then whatever error message follows. Some of the formulas will cause errors, and you will have to return errors. And then the last thing, the most difficult one or the most important one is the formula, right? It's basically could be like in this example, it's a mathematical function which multiplies several cells or several values. Okay, so since it's the most important part and basically all the computations needs to be done on the formulas, we should probably get more deeply into it for you to explain what to expect there and what could be the caveats. So in this example on the left, you can see the formula. All the formulas begin with the equal sign. That's the hard kind of way to recognize, that's a hard rule to recognize formulas. It always starts with the equal sign. Then there goes some sort of, in this example, it's a sum, it's a function that sums up 2 values, where you can see the values are references into the cells. And on the right, you can see all the possible value types, what we call, that could exist in the formula. So basically, whenever there's an equal sign, you start parsing formula, you enter the different world, let's call it. So you can find the same like values or primitives, numbers, strings, or texts and booleans. You can also find references. Reference is a coordinate to a cell, basically following the A1 notation, A1, B1, C1, etc. Or you can find a function, which is instructs the application to do something with the values. And things can get even more complicated. I don't want to scare you here, but just for you to be aware of what to expect. You can see that in formulas, there could be all these values mixed together or combined together. Like the first line shows like references, numbers, and there could be references and numbers. Second line, you can see there are also strings and Boolean values, maybe even some invalid operations can be introduced, but you need to return error in that case. And then the most interesting part is the last one, where basically functions can be inside functions, like sum of sums, or where one of the argument is another function. So it can get pretty complicated, although we're not gonna, like in our assignment, we're not gonna nest to the infinity. But it's good to know what are the constraints, right? Okay, and these are basically the operators, 10 simple operators that we're going to use in the home assignment. It's some mathematical ones like sum, divide, some logical expressions, and so on. So it's like it's a lot of them, but once you figure it out and build your application, it's more or less like copy pasting one or another, and just doing slight adjustments to it. Okay, so few advices before you start coding. First of all, think how you're gonna access references. Remember, like you can get a reference in the formula, which is like A1, B1, C1. It's a coordinate of a cell. So that means you need to navigate through the data and find the value and then use it, right? So think about it because it can get pretty complex. And if you do your homework before you do the right architecture before start coding, it can ease things up. And the next thing, think about how to handle errors. There could be a lot of different errors. There could be like runtime errors. There could be some calculation errors, some data type mismatch errors and stuff like that. So, a friendly advice from us is to think about it, make your error messages as verbal as possible so you can, understand what caused the error. Okay, and we talked about the basic concept of the task. Let's now look into the actual, like how it's going to look in the real life, how the task is going to look, how it's going to be delivered to you, right? So we created a specific application, what we call the Hub. It's basically a service. It's running on the internet where you can access the input, or like the service provides the data that you need to do computations on, and then you need to submit back the output. So this simple diagram shows how it's supposed to work. So as you can see, there's a hub. Your application is supposed to get the input or the data that needs to be parsed and then later on computed. And then you need to construct the output or the result and submit it back to the hub. And yes, this means that part of your application is dealing with the HTTP request, which means like getting data and parsing it and then submitting or posting it back to verify that your calculations are correct. Again, like the same principle, like the core of the task is you get the data, you convert it to basically from values and formulas to values or errors, and then you submit it back. This is how the getting jobs is going to look like. This is like a stripped example of actual JSON that you're going to receive when getting sheets. So as you can see, there are two main parts here. One of them is the submission URL. This is important. The application is not static, so you have to use the submission URL to submit your results. So you cannot submit your results to a random link. So this is important. You need to save it and use it later on. And then the rest is a structure called sheets, where you receive a list of different sheets with different rows and cells and formulas that you need to deal with. Okay, getting jobs, posting. So whenever you successfully get the jobs and then, sheets, and then you go through them and parse all the formulas, execute your code, and then kind of do the calculations, you need to submit them back. So basically, you need to construct another JSON, where we ask you to provide your email so that we know that we can identify you later on. And the computed data structure should be assigned or should go under the results. And this way, this is like the way you should submitting. And remember, you have to use your submission URL in order to submit your results. Okay. Once you do submit, you can get one of two. Either you submit it correctly, or you have a mistake or a couple of mistakes in your output. So if you submit, like let's start with the happy flow. If you submit and everything went well, you did all the calculations right, you're gonna get the success message from the hub. And here, it's an important thing. You'll get your passcode, which you need to use later on. I'll talk when and where. Or if you made a mistake somewhere, you'll get this error message saying like something about the mistake. You know, it can be like the errors can be different. Like the service is pretty smart, and it can instruct you like whether there's a calculation error. It can tell you like the C2 cell in this job in this sheet was calculated badly, and then you need to, like you can navigate. It's not just like generic errors like you know, you're wrong or something like that. It's just like it can pretty guide you through the and help you to debug. Okay. Important thing to mention also, you don't be afraid to interact with the hub. We're not going to count how many requests are you doing, how many attempts are you doing. You know, you can interact on any change basically, and then you know, it's not going to be a penalty or something like that in the evaluation of the task. You know, it's basically like use it on your own advantage. If you run into issues and you know life happens, although we tested the service multiple times ourselves and gave it to some of our engineers, you know things can go wrong sometimes, and then you know you might need support. So this is where the email that I talked about in the beginning, which is an important one, you should just reply to that email and say, okay, I have an issue with this, something is not working, service is down, and so on. And we're going to reply to this email as soon as possible. What is the definition of done, what we call, or what needs to be done in order to consider this assignment complete, right? So two main things. You have to get the success message from the hub. That's pretty straightforward, right? That means you need to solve all the formulas there. You need to do all the calculations, all the computation, and so on. And then once you do that, you still have time to, you know, clean things up, because you know sometimes when you're in a rush or you don't want to lose your kind of train of thought, correct? So you kind of, you know, do some shortcuts. So, you know, use your time to polish the result and before sharing to us, because you will have to do it. So that's the definition of done. You need to solve all the tasks, do the computations on all the sheets, basically, and get the success message, and then, you know, tweak your code, polish it, clean it up, so you can send the result later. And it would be nice if you added like some instructions on how to run the application for us, so it's easier, you know, to understand, you know, like a simple README file in the code base. Small side note: you can use whatever third-party libraries you want. The task is not that difficult, but maybe if you come up with some ideas, that's fine. There are no, again, any penalty on that. Feel free to use it. And once you're done with that, this is the way you're going to submit your code. So we have our internal file service. So you zip your code. Just be sure not to zip like generated things, like bundles for the front end, let's say, or node modules if you're using Node. Any binaries, avoid that. You know, anything that we can output later ourselves is not needed to be just the source code and the instruction on how to run it. You zip it, you upload to the service. It's all going to be written in the email, both in the email and also in the task PDF. And then send it to us, and then don't forget the passcode. We want you to send us the passcode as well, so we know that you did the task. Okay, and last part that I want to cover is the evaluation. So once we get your submission of the task, so these are the things that we're gonna, these are the criteria that we're gonna use to evaluate the task. So first of all, the passcode. If there's no passcode, or the passcode is incorrect, you're gonna be rejected. Another thing, requirements satisfied. So basically, it's kind of the same, right? You have to get the success message from the hub. If you get a success message, you get the passcode. First two, check, right? Then we're going to pay attention to to the code. The code should be kind of clean and readable. It's important, as Laurynas mentioned, one of the values. And then some code structure, some design that we're also gonna look into it. Of course, we are pragmatic, at least trying to be pragmatic and objective. You know, we're gonna consider your experience and what you delivered. So we're not expecting like you know, students to come up with something like, you know, impressive or so on. So we're gonna be pretty pragmatic on that. And that's it. I'm gonna pass the mic now to Laurynas to talk about what happens next when you successfully complete your technical assignment and submit to us. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks. So you have successfully completed the homework assignment, right? So what happens next? So we're gonna invite you into the technical interview. And during the technical interview, we will talk a little bit about you. And we also will talk a little bit about Wix. And we will go through the homework assignment that you did. So that will involve some live coding. So you will open up your homework assignment. Hopefully you will bring your laptop. If no, we will open it in ours. But we will walk through. We will ask questions about your code. Yeah, these are the things that we expect. We expect that you know your code, you can work with it, you can reason your code, right? You can change your code. We will maybe ask you to do some slight changes in your code. And yeah, and we expect that you can solve some trivial problems that we might throw at you. And so what can you expect from us? So you can expect us from us to have some like obvious questions raised for you, maybe some really stupid questions. So don't be thrown away if you get some of those. So just answer as you think, and yeah, try not to like come up with clever words. Use your own words. Keep it simple. If you don't know how to express your train of thought, so you can just try to think loudly, as we say. We will try to help you, and we are not there to make you fail, but basically we want to collaborate and talk about your code. So you will also encounter questions that you won't answer. You don't know answers, and that's okay. We will ask you questions that you don't know answer, and it's okay to say I don't know. And basically that's it. And so the best advice is just to stay calm and talk with us. So the communication is really important. And sadly, because there's a lot of you, we won't be providing detailed feedback after the interviews about your homework, about the interview. So sadly, this won't be provided. And with that, I want to move to the Q&A. I know that you submitted tons of questions that we will try to answer.
So for the people who are watching us online, we will have the short break, just technical, and then we will be back. Use that few minutes to submit your questions. QR code is here, and QR code is on your live stream. watching him because he will show me. Okay, we're back. So we're back on the Q&A session, and we divided in a few parts. I will try to switch some questions, not to listen to the same topic. So first of all, how many interns are we planning to accept? So we have 30 places for interns. It means that from all the people who applied and who will do the homework, we will choose 30, and we will give you an offers to join our company. What are the chances to be accepted to the program if you are not a student but currently changing career, or you are mostly focusing on the students? Doesn't matter. If you do the home assignment, if you have the time to come and be with us during those 6 months internship, it means that you can come. We are not focusing on students, or we're not focusing on career changers. Everyone is welcomed if you are able to pass the recruitment process, and you will be able to give us time. There was as well a question, can you work part-time during the internship? I think it's quite difficult because we will still accept, and as Vilta said before, we are office culture company. So yes, maybe some days you will be able to be remote, but we will still expect you in the office with the people to learn from, because we believe that this is the best way. So it can be hard, but if you think that you can do that, we can provide you, 0.75 FTE, half-time contract, and then you can other time you can do what you want.
Yeah, and I just want to say, in the last time we did this program, we did have accepted like interns who were not students, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and we
Yeah,
are working here at Wix right now.
Yes.
Just maybe like one thing to clarify that it's an internship position, right? So we are targeting people with little experience or no experience. So if you have like 10 years of experience, it's not
Apply to other
yeah
positions.
apply to our like regular positions for a full-time engineer, not for the internship.
Okay, guys, will all interviews be held in English or Lithuanian language?
So all the interviews will be held in English, like we do now.
No, he's joking. No, we will check your English, but basically if you're a Lithuanian speaker during the live coding or technical interview, we will speak in Lithuanian, no?
Yeah. So there's no limitation.
But if you're English speaker, we will speak in English.
If you prefer doing it in English, we can do it in English. If you prefer to do it in Lithuanian, it's fine as well. But like these are two main languages that we support because we use English as our main language to communicate in the company, and Lithuanian is our native language for most of us. So it's
Yeah, but you are expected to know English,
yes,
right? So
definitely.
because we work with multiple locations, so it's a hard requirement to know English and be comfortable working with in that.
It
culture.
would be pretty impossible to work in this company without knowing English.
Yeah.
Will the technical interviews be related to the position we are applying, front end or back end, or with general programming, algorithms, data structures?
Want to take this?
Yeah, the interviews are general because a lot of you, we understand when applying to the position, still don't know which track to choose. Like, do I want to be a back-end engineer? Do I want to be a front-end engineer? Like, it's a common thing not to know that in the beginning. So during the internship or during the interviews, depending on how you did the task, we might choose a team for you or a guild for you. So the interviews are general.
Yeah, maybe like small thing to add. We're still gonna distribute the ones that will get an offer to the either front end or back end. So, like Laurina said, we look into the preferences, like what you want to do. We look in what languages you know. So we try to find the perfect match when assigning you to a team and to a position.
Yeah. And if you do our homework in Java, we kind of maybe you kind of push us towards like a maybe back-ender-ish heavier interview, but that's the interview is I don't know, live organism. It can go either way, and if you make it in JavaScript, we will most likely talk about JavaScript. As I said, know the language you work with, because we will mostly during the interviews we will mostly talk about it.
But if you, for example, want to be a backender, you can tell us that.
Yeah,
that you want
definitely.
that
You should.
side. Yes. Okay. Can we reach out for assistance to someone from your teams while doing homework assignment?
Yeah, so I think I covered it in my
But
slides.
it was about technical issues, not a help. It means about the help if they get
Help.
stuck.
So that includes help if you get stuck badly. Just reply to the email, and we'll get to you as soon as possible to answer some of the questions that you might have. But yeah.
Yeah.
Is it possible to freeze the internship for a period? So I think my answer is no, because you will get the 6-month temporary contract, and it will be 6 months. So if you decide to leave us, for example, earlier, it's possibility, but we cannot put the pause inside. If you need a pause for a few days, that's possible. But if you want to have a freeze for a few months, that would be very difficult. Are there going to be any actual training for programming or only practical on hands learning without professional trainers?
Maybe I can take it. Also, like to what Roma answered to the previous question, like if you want to like, there's going to be like a clear 6-month program set. So each of you who's going to join as an intern will have to follow this program. And if you like want to do like a month break, it can ruin things because other colleagues are going to complete the program earlier and so on. And we're limited in terms of amount of mentors and so on. So again, like to add to that. And then talking about this program. So yes, the course basically consists of a few parts. One of the parts. The first one is we want to train you to a certain level with the technologies that you're going to use, and then later on you're going to be working on the real tasks in the real companies and the real teams on real products that are going to be used by millions of users later on. So it's not going to be most likely in the beginning, something big, but bug fixes to get your hands dirty. And then later on, when you progress learning and growing, you can get more complicated tasks. And there's always going to be a mentor to guide you through, to do the code reviews, to advise you, and so on. So basically, you're not going to be doing something like that is, I don't know, metaphoric or
in the sandbox.
Yes, something like that. But more like working on real code, working on real applications, working with real code bases.
Okay, let's move. Next question is, what are the hybrid work arrangements in Wix? So basically, we've said it already a few times, we're a very work culture company. So what we have now is 4 days are at the office, and 1 day in a week you can choose where you want to work. And we expect similar work from the interns, but definitely we understand there will be, especially from the September, there will be, you have to go to university, you have to do your home assignments. So we will be flexible. It will be a possibility to, come less hours or less days to the office. And let's not forget, if we are not talking about the full time, so it means that you are with us for 2 or 3 days a week. So, my recommendation is, if you want really to learn, come to the office, because you will have people here. It will be much easier just, to turn around and say, hey, I have a question, than to type to Slack or search for their time. So if you want to get the full experience, be ready to come to the office and be with us. And I think you will get the best results. But if you need some remote options, it's possible, but not full time, just a few days. Yeah. Something to add?
Nope.
Okay, so the other question is for you. If I use JavaScript for my homework, do I need to submit a list of external libraries or modules that I used, or just the code and readme.rmd?
So if you use some like bundlers or something like that for your front-end code to be compiled or transpiled, what we call it, and then you're supposed to have like a package JSON together with the product, where you list all your dependencies. So in this case, we can I don't know if you're going to be using like create React application, right? Like it also has this package JSON. So if you use any dependencies, you install them. And simply they appear on the package JSON and the name of the dependency and the version that you used. So you don't need to compile node modules, but add the package JSON in your source code. And if you're not using NPM for some reason and you use third-party dependencies, then you should zip them together, because it requires additional time for us to search for them on the internet. We don't know which version you've been using for the task, so it's kind of makes things difficult. So I think use NPM if you can, and then submit the package JSON, and it's going to work.
Yeah. I want to extend this question, not just include JavaScript, and you talk about package JSON and NPM, but this applies, the general rule is for us to be able to run your code, right? So provide instructions how to build and execute your code on any machine. It doesn't matter how you manage those third-party dependencies. It's good to follow some best practices, and it can be anything like Java application, JavaScript application, doesn't matter. Please provide instructions how to run your program. So don't hurry to submit the assignment.
Think about it if you're seeing this first time, enter this mode and say, okay, this is something I see first time, can I run it?
Yeah.
So think about it this way.
We can move?
Yeah.
Okay. 17-year-old acceptable for internship? Yes. Not a full-time, definitely.
Awesome.
But yeah, if you submit the home task, if you do it great, we can offer you the internship if you are 17-year-old. Any upcoming marketing or UX internships? Marketing, sadly, we don't have here on the site, so no, not in the plans. UX, we had a few years before. It was actually as well successful. Maybe we will have it, not in this round. In this round, we have only for developers.
I know UX has UX mentorship program, so you can check that out and apply. And our UX
and have a sessions with our UXers.
Experts will contact you and invite to the office for a coffee.
Is it possible to be in 2 or more guilds at the same time?
So the simple answer is no.
But you can try. No.
Maybe
No.
when transitioning, I don't know.
No, unless you're moving from one guild to another, which happens sometimes. But eventually you're going to belong to one guild.
Yeah.
But I think it's as well important if you start as a front-ender, for example, and in the middle you decide that you still want to do a back-end, it's possible.
Yeah.
We have the people who move through the positions and through the guilds, but they have to go through the recruitment process as well. If, for example, our colleagues are doing that, they have to submit the homework, they are evaluated, they are tested, and then we decide if they're good enough to move.
Yeah.
Can we solve homework assignment with 2 or more programming languages? Will that raise the possibility to come?
No, that won't impress us, but
No, will they have more possibility to join if they will solve not in one language, but in 2?
No. We just want, one is enough. Don't over-engineer things. It will depend on how your code looks. Follow the expectations we provided, simple, reusable, good, maybe the best design you can make, and that's it.
Yeah, you can basically, if you know more than one language, we can talk about it in the technical interview.
Yeah.
When talking about yourself, if you can show something, you can show in the technical interview. But we're not going to evaluate on that criteria of how many languages you use to solve the task. If you can solve it, it's good enough for one language, I think.
I see we're running out of time dedicated for this event, but we still have a few very good questions, so I want to ask them. If someone is in a hurry, so feel free to leave at any time, and the rest, please stay, and we will continue. Mm-hmm. This question I like very much. Is it okay for me to bring my dog to HR or team interview for emotional support? Yes, he's a good boy. Yes, you can bring your dog during the internship every single day if it's friendly with other dogs, because it's at least 4 or 5 of them every single day.
Yeah.
Feel free. Cats more difficult, but if you have, I don't know, parrot or some, just feel free. Everything that can help you, you can bring it.
Yeah, if you can train the cat well, then you can bring it.
Is it possible to use pen and paper during technical interview?
Of course. Yeah. Use whatever you like.
Yeah.
It's a really good tool during the interviews to express your thoughts and ideas. Right.
Yeah, like a simple example could be if you get stuck and
But-
you need to go like through
Yeah.
some answer to come up with the answer which
Yeah.
you forgot or you don't know.
But you don't need to bring it. Like
Yeah,
we have
it's a tool.
everything provided here, so it's not something you need to take care of. We have those tools in our meeting rooms, and it's available, so you don't need to think about it.
Yeah.
Maybe you could provide a feedback after unsuccessful submission upon individual request. It might be beneficial for participants,
Yeah.
but
So
very time consuming for us.
yeah, it's a time consuming. Depending on your case, maybe I like doing like one-on-ones with random people to provide some ideas for growth. Not sure about Thomas, so we could arrange like I have a private conversation about your growth path, and we might schedule a like one-on-one with you in the future, not immediately after a programming. So if there's reasons, I guess, and you really want to, and you have time to come here and talk with us for 30 minutes, I would be willing to do that, but it's on some specific cases, I guess.
And there are now at the moment we have 300 submissions,
Yeah.
more a bit. So if everyone will come for a feedback, we still have product to develop for 200 million people. But if you really want, you can always ask. It doesn't cost anything,
Yeah.
and if we will be able to, we will try to do
Yeah,
that.
maybe we delay a bit and we'll give you the feedback in a month or something. Because we want to focus on the hiring the people that we want to hire for the internship. So all of our focus for the upcoming month is having these interviews and evaluating people that come. But if you have questions, you didn't succeed it, just drop us an email. We'll get back to you in a month after we're less busy with preparing for the program.
Is GitHub link acceptable for submitting the code or only a zip file?
Yeah, so we ask you not to make your code publicly available because for the obvious reason of maybe somebody else looking for it or reusing something, we want you to follow the instructions, and it's in the instructions is specifically asked not to make your repositories public. Use the tools we provide.
Okay. Let's guys try to answer questions a bit, more
Okay,
efficient.
no,
Okay?
you can't.
No, yes.
Yes,
Okay.
no. Okay.
How much does work experience in IT matter in the selection process?
Doesn't.
Okay, let's move.
We're going to evaluate in the interview process all of your skills. I think I mentioned already, but if you have 5 years experience in working as an engineer, you should apply for the full-time position. In this internship, we target people with no or minimal experience. Experience can help you to solve the task, to show off good in the interview. So it can be helpful, right? But we don't have a hard requirement. If you have no experience, it's still fine as soon as you can pass the interviews.
And if a coding school or a previous internship gives you a bit of advantage?
So again, the advantage is your knowledge. If you can demonstrate your knowledge that you got in the previous internship or in the coding school or in any other ways like programming competitions, stuff like that, and if it created you the person you are and you can helps you to become a person you are, and then you can kind of demonstrate your knowledge in the technical interview, that's your advantage. We're not evaluate on how many coding skills you finished or how many internships you attended.
Okay, this is yes or no question. Can we come to the office for the home assignment?
No.
Why not?
It's a home assignment.
Simple thing.
Am I wrong?
No. Today we open
confusing.
the door. Usually you have to be employee or intern to be able to come to the office. So no, do it at home.
300
okay?
people in the
And free coffee, you know. What kind of tasks can we expect during the technical interview live coding? Will it be timed?
So expect the tasks related to your homework, as I mentioned. Maybe change something, add a little bit, something extra. If we see that it is necessary, we might give you some really trivial, like, I don't know, algorithm to solve or something like that. We understand that during the interview, it's a stressful situation. You might forget a lot of the things you know. So we, as interviewers, understand that, and we try to limit the complexity we throw at you. So the best thing is to talk about your homework.
How common are these internship programs? Can you expect one in the near future? So this is the second time for us that we're doing it. We did one before in 2021, and that one was successful. It depends on you, actually. If you will do good during the internship, then we will repeat it. If we will not like it, then we will maybe decide that it's not worth. No, we are planning to continue because we really see the value in growing, in helping, and teaching you from the very, very beginning. So you can expect, not this year, maybe next year.
Yeah, we've been doing internships even before, I think. Just a bit of a different format, but we've been doing internship in Wix since the very beginning of Vilnius Office. So, yes.
If possible, to work fully remote after internship. As I understand, you have the office only in Vilnius. Yes, you are correct. We have office only in Vilnius. And sadly, we don't want our people to work fully remotely. There can be some very, very exceptional cases. We are human too, and life happens, we understand. But we really believe that the magic happens when we all are here, when we can collaborate, and we really want people to come. We have colleagues that live in Kaunas. Maybe they don't come 4 days, they come 3 days, but they still come most of the week to the office, and we will continue as this if nothing bad will happen to the world.
Yeah, and the schedule is pretty tight for the program. So, being in the office works on your own advantage, I would say, to learn the most and show yourself.
Is the start day of the internship is flexible? It is flexible because we understand that it will be your exam session time, so we will adapt to that. It can differ in a few days to any person. So yeah, it's flexible, but it's not flexible that in 2 months.
Yeah.
We still want to start in the 1 or 2 weeks.
It's flexible in a certain amount of certain period.
In
yeah,
days.
like days, weeks maybe, but not like months. Because some of you might be in the team together with another interns. So, imagine someone starts earlier, someone starts later, then it's kind of a mess to catch up and so on. So,
Okay, it's difficult for me. Any size contains on sheets, and then A to Z or AA to AZZ. I don't know if you understand, you can check it here.
Any size constraints
I think
on
I
sheets?
cannot solve that home assignment, so.
No, the data, it's about a data structure. Probably I'm gonna rephrase it. Is the data structure big, right? Do we have a lot of cells? No, in the input, it's pretty handleable. I don't know how many cells.
Let's say
20, 30, something like that.
For columns, it's that single letter is enough.
Yeah, single letter is enough, and yeah, not too much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, what does the salary depend on? We put the range, it's correct, and we always do that. It will depend on, first of all, the time that you can spend if you will choose to be with us full-time or 0.75, so this is important. And then still on your skills, because we will be, if we see that you have a bit of experience, so we will offer you a bit higher salary.
We're
if
going to
you
compensate for that.
Starting from the very beginning, then it will be a bit less, but it still will be in the ranges that we wrote. I'll be applying for the internship today. I will not. So I haven't received the assignment yet. Is there a link available for the assignment so that I can work it early? Not yet. Be patient. Tomorrow you will receive the letter, everyone who applied. So if you didn't apply yet, do that, tomorrow you will receive the letter as few times on the screen you saw it, and there will be the home assignment. If you already applied, just wait. If you will not get it in, I don't know, till tomorrow evening, then it's a technical issue, something happened, then you can write us. Or, there is contacts in the Wix Grow page. But there's no link yet. We will send assignment by the email.
And if you apply later in the program, so for ones who will watch this in the future and you haven't applied it, if you apply before like April
23rd.
Yeah, so you immediately get the assignment once you apply.
You will just have less time to do it. As I understand, only 30 interns will be selected. How many of them will receive job offers after the internship? We don't know. I'm honest with you. It depends on how you will be performing. It will depend on how the teams will look like, how many, we call it seats, how many places in the teams we will have. Last time we kept, I think, more than 70% of our interns.
70-80% were offered. Yeah, so it really depends on the interns. We cannot tell. We would like to keep all of them, but
if
it has to be worth it. Yeah.
If you will do great, we will want to keep you, and we will find, we will search for possibilities.
Yeah.
Can technical and HR interviews be remote? HR can. I think we can arrange that.
Yeah, last time we did this program, it was during COVID times, so all the technical interviews were like remote. It's like an exception. I believe we can like do it, but we would strongly ask you to come to the office. It's much easier to communicate like sitting in one room.
We wanted to do a home assignment in the office.
Yeah.
Okay.
As an exception, we might like allow this. Yeah.
2 last questions, okay, and then we will finish. Does the hub contain edge cases?
It's pretty generic question. Like I don't know what means edge cases exactly, but yeah, it handles some of the edge cases. But need to be more precise on what kind of edge cases you have in mind.
Basically, the HUD is really like stupid, maybe, or simple. I don't know. It gives you the task and it validates the results you computed in your program. So it's not really like there's not really a lot of
room.
edge cases. Please don't test the hub like DDoS it or anything like that. So.
Okay, one good question came, so I will ask, and then it will be the last one. Can we use ChatGPT for solving problems?
Yeah.
It will not help you on the live coding technical interview.
You can, but yeah, if ChatGPT will do the technical interview
can it
as
solve
well with you.
So I don't know. Like it won't help you in the technical interview. So you can cheat, basically, do whatever you want, but it's gonna come out anyway. So if you cannot, like if you didn't yourself, the homework. So
we tried it actually with ChatGPT.
Didn't work.
We tried it. So.
Okay, I promise. 2 last questions. Please don't put it more because they are good. I cannot skip them. What interns do badly so they don't get a permanent job? We may not have the seat or position. Then we sadly have to say goodbye, but then we try to say, look, if we will have a position, you will be the first person we call. But I think what they do bad is the attitude thing. We expect you to come here and learn. We don't expect you to know everything, but if you come with the attitude that you're doing us a favor that you are here, then yeah, maybe we will finish the internship with you, but we will not want you to be here with a permanent basis. So remember those Wix way that I was talking about. Own what you do, be a pro, don't be an asshole. Think about the end result that you are doing, and then you will succeed.
The questions till the end, like it's getting better and better.
Yeah.
Like,
That's why I cannot stop. Okay, but this last one is for you guys to share your experience. If you want to learn the coding yourself, how would you suggest to do that? Do courses, learn programming languages, something else?
Yeah, there's a lot of ways to learn, and each individual is different. Like I meet people who like watching like videos on YouTube where people teach you, and some of the people like to read books, so technical books. Some like to go through blog posts and like follow a step-by-step guide. So each individual is different, and it's really finding your own way of learning, how you enjoy it, and do it every day and become better each time you like sit down and learn. So it's very individual. I myself, I like reading books, right? And yeah, listening to books, maybe audible books, and of course, practicing code, like building applications, your pet projects is also a good way. Joining a company is the best way because you learn professional things,
In a professional way, yeah.
yeah, best practices, and yeah, because when you work alone, you're trying to figure everything out yourself. And it's sometimes not the best ways.
I think
GPT can help.
Yeah,
No.
I think it's kind of there's a lot of resources like Laurinas mentioned already, but I think like it's always important for you to like what you do. If you like coding, you know, if you think about it a lot, you know, you kind of want to get back to do some more coding after you finish and stuff like that. So that kind of helps you, you know. It's like in every work, I guess. You need to like what you do, and then you know. A lot of resources, books really help, online courses really help, and you know, it depends on the technology what you want to learn. So define the scope, what you want to learn, you know, focus, because there's a lot of things. You cannot learn everything. Even us, we don't know everything.
And like getting feedback is really important. Like without feedback, there's no learning. You do something at home, sit down. If you're not getting feedback, you're not growing. So either show it to your friends, show your code to your friends. If you build application, give your friends to try it out. Maybe they will break, find some edge cases that don't work. So that way you learn. So get feedback on your work, and that way you will grow.
Yeah, and try to like to practice things, you know, practice, because you can read it can make sense for you, but if you don't practice, you don't really feel it. So practice, you know, consume the information, get the feedback, and define the scope of what you want to learn.
As you see, it's very hard for us to stop talking, but I have to finish. So I will say thank you for everyone who was watching us online. We will stay here for a bit. If you have some more questions or you want, you know, to talk with us, so we will stay here a bit. And for everyone online, thank you very much for joining us.